on our page right here on Facebook and beyond. Kujo. In Jamaica, he was simply called Captain Cudjoe, and the class will last only 5 minutes today. Captain Cudjoe. Kujo is spelled Cujoe. He was born circa 1659. My brother, my sister. And he died in 1744. My brother, my sister. He was somebody who came all the way from this part of the world today called Ghana. Kujo is another variation or cryptogram of the name Kujo. How many of us know that? Kujo in Fanti and Kujo in Ashanti. My brother, my sister, they are related. The Fantis say Kujo. The Airways also say Kujo. The Asantis say Kujo. So certainly, he came from this part of the world. He was born circa 1659. My brother, my sister, and he was taken to Jamaica as a slave on the slave plantations. My brother, my sister, he was taken alongside Queen Nanny of the Maroons. My brother, my sister. Now, the Jamaican Maroons were Krumantings taken from out of this country today called Ghana. A lot of them came from the northern part of Ghana. In fact, the Dagombes. Because at the time, my brother, my sister, there was a reunion of the Ashantis and the Dagombes to be able to fight wars and win wars. The Ashantis realized that the Dagombes were so strong and so brave. So they struck a certain acquaintance and relationship with the Dagombes. They married the Dagombes because they were tall and also very handsome and strong as compared to the Asante man who averagely was short and dark. So the great Asante king at the time decided that Asante women should be exposed to Dagomba men. My brother, my sister. They should intermarry so that at least their children would inherit the height that they so much needed. And the height was important during the wars. And the king succeeded. A lot of the Dagombes had their names changed into Akan names. They married a lot of Asante women to the point that the average Asante man became quite jealous, and they started killing the Dagombes in Asante. When they arrived in Asante land, the Asante at the time gave them a place known as Bantama. In fact, history tells us that the Dagombes were those who named it Bantama. In Dagomba or Dagbani, it means it's my father who gave me this land, Bantama. My brother, my sister, some people have disputed this historical fact, but they have never been able to dispute the fact that the great Asante king at the time came into an alliance with the Dagomba warriors, and they shared guerrilla tactics and military warfare. Oh my God, tactics. Now slavery came in, and a lot of people were captured and sent beyond the seas. One of those was Kujo. And Kujo was carried away. But remember the spirit of fighting. The Asantes coming together with the Dagombes, they formed one of the fiercest militaries in the whole of Africa. A combination of the Dagombes and the Asantes. Nobody could defeat them. They were so strong. History even tells us that the great Asante warrior, Opoku Frede, who was killed, in fact, who committed suicide after he was defeated at the Battle of Dodowa, was Dagomba. having established this, let's go into the history proper. Now, during the wars, the Anglo-Ashanti wars and beyond, many people were captured on both sides, and a lot of them were sent into slavery. A lot were carried into the highlands of Jamaica, a country I visited only a few days ago. And when you look at the mountains and look at the hills, my brother, my sister, you would understand exactly what we are talking about right now. One of those was Queen Nanny taking over the whole area. Remember that these were warriors. So what did they do? They started to fight the slave raider. They were able to kill a lot of the slave raiders, running up onto the mountains and rolling big stones on these slave raiders and slave traders. My brother, my sister, in time, their name Kurumantin got lost. In Ghana, or in this part of the world today called Ghana, they were called the Kurumantin slaves. The Kurumantins, so strong, they never ever gave up. In Jamaica, they were called the Maroons. So the equivalent of the Kurumantin is the Maroon in Jamaica. They fought fiercely to free themselves from these slave raiders and slave traders. My brother, my sister, one of them was Kujo, who was born in 1659. See what happened. He gathered all the Maroons from this part of the world, trained them to be able to fight, and they fought and fought. My brother, my sister, they formed communities up in the hills of Jamaica, in the mountains of the colony of Jamaica during the era of slavery on the island. Enslaved Africans imported during the Spanish period may have provided the first self-liberated Africans, also known as the runaways, apparently mixing with the Native American Taino and Arawak people that remained in the country. Anybody who wanted to be free had to find a way to go all the way to Kujo and his people up on the hills of Jamaica. I had the opportunity to visit Trelawney, where Usain Bolt comes from, my brother, my sister. And there we find Kujo Town. Kujo's town is in Jamaica. When you go to Jamaica, my brother, my sister, coming all the way from Kingston, when you go through on your way to Montego Bay, there you would find Ochi or Ocho Rios, and you would also find Trelawney. In Trelawney, you would find Kujo's town. My brother, my sister, that was where they fought and were able to defeat the slave trader. Now there is a place around Trelawney there, which is called the Runaway. That was where they ran away from the slave trader and were able to build their own communities in the hills of Jamaica. Of course, Trelawney, joining hands with the Native American Taino and the Arawak Indians. My brother, my sister, he became known as Captain Cudjoe because he commanded the army, my brother, my sister, and he was able to conquer a lot of these people. So anybody who wanted to be free would have to find Kujo and come all the way to Kujo's town to go up on the mountains and be automatically free. Today, my brother, my sister, we remember this great man. He also signed a treaty with the British in the first Maroon War of the 1730s because the British realized that they couldn't defeat Captain Cudjoe and his people. They were too strong for them. So they signed a treaty so that they will continue to be independent whilst they also dealt with whatever they could do. The agreement said anybody who found his way into Kujo's town should be free. My brother, my sister, in 1739, Kujo reached an agreement with the British that recognized the Leeward Maroons as an independent nation and it became the first ever nation in Jamaica, Kujo's town, and it was built by the great Captain Cudjoe. Hallelujah. My brother, my sister, he received a large tract of land, and this land was used to keep the first nation in Jamaica, freed slaves who fought their way into freedom. In the 1740s, some leeward Maroons who opposed the 1739 treaty rose in revolt, but Kujo crushed those rebellions because he was too strong for any such thing. Why did the leeward Maroons rise against him? It was said that any new people who came into the area should be sent back to the British. But Kujo kept a lot of them, except those who did not have any good character. He sent them back, and the other Maroons said, no way. Once they reach here, whether they have good character or not, they should stay. But Kujo stamped his authority and took over the whole place. Now, according to one story, Kujo died at Nani Town in the Blue Mountains, a mountain that I had the opportunity to see. He died 5 years after peace was concluded. However, the white Jamaican writer Edward Long and his colleague Thomas Thistlewood wrote of personal encounters with Kujo in the 1750s and 1760s. In the last written reference, Long described how Kujo led his leeward Maroons in a martial performance at Montego Bay for Governor Sir William Littleton in 1764. That same year, Thistlewood reported receiving news that Colonel Kujo was dead some time ago. So the man who was said to be dead was still alive, and he was still fighting several years after they said he was dead. And he was one of the greatest that Jamaica ever had on that island. The very first independent nation in Jamaica was Kujo's town. My brother, my sister, seen as an autonomous nation before the land of Jamaica was itself founded. My brother, my sister, what a great man. In conclusion, my brother, my sister, Kujo will be remembered for so many different things. For the Treaty of 1739 named Akompong as Kujo's successor after he was gone. My brother, my sister, there's a whole town in Jamaica named after him, right here in Trelawney and along the coast of Montego Bay. Today we remember, oh, this wonderful man. Even in Jamaica, Kujo Day is celebrated on the first Monday in every January. And if you happen to go to Jamaica, the first Monday in January is celebrated as Kujo's Day because he was born on a Monday. All Jamaicans in the area, come out and try to at least say a word of tree, marching, etiseng, and eat some food, original food from Ghana. Fufu, here benkwine. There's no benkwine in Jamaica. They don't eat palm nut soup. But on that day, some people eat palm nut soup and fufu. Some people eat Ghana food in order to, acknowledge this great soul, Captain Cudjoe. Kujo, why are there? What? Yeah, Kujo. Kujo, uni yamiko. Kujo, misi why you be what? Oh, Kujo, uni yamiko what? Dem refer to you what? Yeah, Kujo, why you be what? Kujo, uni yamiko. Yeah, uni yamiko. Uni yamiko what? Yeah, Kujo. Minubeko what? Minubeko Kujo. Kujo minubeko.